Hey, what's going on? This is Sarah Lee Day and you're watching Dipsado Tidbits, the things you need to know about Dipsado delivered in bite-sized pieces. Last week we finished up talking about all the different template areas available in Dipsado, and this week I want to dive a little bit deeper into the different building blocks that are available for you to create your different form types. Now, under the Forms section, I'm actually going to come into the sample questionnaire that Dipsado has already added to the account. This is something that's available in every new Dipsado account, regardless of if you're on the trial or a paid subscription. And Dipsado does a really great job of putting together an example for you to look at and see the different design elements in action. Over here on the right is where you're going to find those different building blocks, and majority of these building blocks are going to be the same across all different form types. Whether it's contract, proposal, questionnaire, it doesn't really matter. Most of these are going to be available for every single form type. There are a couple, however, that will be specific to specific form types, and we'll get into those a little bit later in a future episode. But for right now, I just want to take a look at the basic elements that are available and show you what those are going to look like in a finalized form. So instead of looking at each of these here in the edit screen, I'm actually going to save and preview this form so we can see how a customer is actually going to view this form and what those elements are going to look like on the front end. So starting at the top here, this is an image element. So any kind of image you have, PNG, JPEG, you're going to be able to upload that from your computer and into your Dipsado forms, and you can add them wherever you'd like. Then you've got a text box. In text boxes, they're basically just text. You can add other elements like a chart, an image, a link. There's lots of things you can add in the text box, and we'll actually go a little bit deeper into detail on smart fields, which can be added to text boxes. And we'll do that in tomorrow's episode. Then here you've got a date select box, and this will give you a calendar to select a date. Now keep in mind, if you're using this element, that in order for this field to work properly, your clients are going to have to actually scroll through and select a date from the calendar. Even though it's going to allow them to enter information in here manually, if they do that and this date is supposed to be populating in a field someplace, it's not going to populate correctly. So you need to make sure whatever date that they are putting here, that they're actually using the selector. And I say that because if you're using this field for something like a birth date, that means they're going to have to scroll all the way back years to find the correct year and month and day for their birth date. So just keep that in mind if you use the date select option. This one here is a short answer field, so it just has one little line to enter the answer. Short answer fields can also be mapped into fields within the profile or custom mapped fields if you wanted to use that. This one is a free response field. It's very similar to short answer, but it is a little bit larger and it cannot be mapped into profile fields or custom mapped fields. Down here you can see we have information on both the left and the right. This is achieved by using a column, and this is a 2-column element here. You can also have 1, 2, 3, or 4 columns in a single element. Then over here we've got our checkbox. This is a checkbox item, so your clients can select one or multiple answers. Then down here we also have a drop down, so this is only going to allow them to select one answer. They can't select more than one. Now, if you're the kind of business that has PDFs that you want to share, or maybe it's a design that you're wanting to share with a client, have them proof or something like that, you can always take a screenshot of that document and make sure that you save it as an image file. That way you can add it in that image block and add that to your forms. Down here we have a yes or no question, so they can select one or the other. It doesn't have to actually be a yes or no question though. This could be a one or the other option. As long as there are only 2 options and you only want them to be able to select one, you can use this question type to get this radio button. Otherwise, you'll have to use either the checkboxes or the drop down for a selection. Now this down here is part of a code block, and that is actually one of those special elements that we're going to talk about in a future episode. So I'm not going to go into it here, but just know that that is available. All right, so now that we've seen on the front end what those look like, on the back end when you're editing, these are what those elements are, and you would just click it to add it to the very bottom of your form, or you can always click and drag anywhere you need it to go within your form, and then just edit from there. All right, that's it for today's tidbit. For more information about receiving updates, requesting future episodes, or getting help with your own Dubsado account, take a look at the links in the description below this video or visit saraleeday.com. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.